Frugal Force? This is Captain Frugal reporting for duty for another episode of Comic Pron, where I bring you a little bit of talk about some covers, some comic books, focusing on the covers, but a little bit about the inside, a little nostalgia, taking us back in time and comparing that. What if we went to the comic book shop and you only had enough money to buy one issue? Which issue would you choose? I know for me, this was a really challenging aspect of getting comics, because I'd go to that comic shop with limited funds and I'd know I had this much money, but I had to pick out what I really wanted, the best bang for your buck. And that was one of the great things about that time, when the prices weren't too high on comic books. You could try new things, and if it was a dud, it didn't cost you a terrible amount of money, so that worked out really well. So anyway, I go to the comic shop and pick them up. Now sometimes, most of the time nowadays, I buy them in large bulk finds. Like I'll go at Craigslist and find a guy selling 100 plus comic books and get them really cheap, or off of eBay that way too. But once in a while, I do still love to go to that comic shop. I mean, I do as much as I can. I like to support the comic shops. Usually I go to the comic shops for my pull list. But when I'm going for the back issues, unless they have a really good sale, I tend to go the other route. It's just I get more for my money. I don't mean to be rude to the comic shops. It's just I have to do what I have to do to afford them. So anyway, jumping that time, we're going back to 1991. A lot of our, we do our videos on the Comic Pron usually in large sets. We did a whole bunch of Captain Marvel. Right now we're on Thor. And this is Thor issue number 432. This was a giant size special celebrating the 350th appearance of the mighty Thor. It says here. Now, interesting. This is a fascinating cover, very cool. Look at that, $1.50 for this giant size issue. You get a lot more bang for your buck back then than you do today. This one, the mighty Thor, brother against brother, Thor versus Loki. At death do we part. And this is a very important issue, because this issue is the part that's going to lead to a major shift in the Thor comic books for a good chunk of period of time that was controversial for the time. So anyway, we look at this cover. I love it right off the bat. The background use of black going against the word Thor and a gold is just really pops. And once again, we're going to have a throwdown. And when I was a kid, well, I wasn't a kid at that time. I was an adult, but a young adult. It just still popped at me. Go, oh, crap is going to go down. Let's be honest. As a guy, or even sometimes a lady, I'm not trying to be gender rude there. Crap's going to go down. It's really interesting. So anyway, you open this up and you look, and we got Game Boy. Give your Game Boy a taste of combat, Contra style. You know what? Game Boy. This is the classic, the original Game Boy. I have the original Game Boy. Dumb me. I gave it away. That's one. I wish I still had my Game Boy. I actually have the Game Boy Color. I have a lot of iterations of Game Boy. But for some reason, nostalgia-wise, I wish I would have kept my original Game Boy. So I do kick myself for that. If you have an original Game Boy, let me know in the comments, or if you've ever had one. What were your thoughts about that? And I know that technologically wise, it wasn't great. It's because Nintendo, even though there was better technology, that was Nintendo's game plan there. They would use older technology, but use it in new, innovative ways to keep the price point down. And they really, in a lot of cases, do a great job. And they still do that today. You look, their systems usually aren't the highest performance systems by all means, but they use them in such a way that they're unique and interesting. Anyway, this had Operation Contra for Game Boy, which I've beaten Operation Contra on Game Boy, I might add. I have Operation Contra on Game Boy still, the original. And great, actually, absolutely great version of the game. So here, anyway, this cover is a Ron Frenz cover, by the way. No more Ron Frenz art for that. And this was Tom DeFalco storyline, too. At death do we part. Just look at that. It's absolutely great. The artwork, as always with Ron Frenz. Ron Frenz and Tom DeFalco are just an excellent team. I don't think you could ever go wrong with any issues with them together. More baseball cards, a thing I never really got that much into. Here we go, Double Dragon 3. Hated this game on the regular Nintendo. I have it. I don't like it. I love Double Dragon 1. I love Double Dragon 2. Once again, I'm talking the Super Nintendo version, not the arcade version. Maybe I'll do an arcade version video of it. But I just did not like this on that version whatsoever. Well, once again, the artwork in this is absolutely solid. Here we have Mephisto. Peter Parker would make a deal with him later on, which is the stupidest thing on earth. But that's for another day, another time. Once again, wonderful art in this issue. You get a lot of pages for your money. Look at that. You get a classic story here. Absolutely wonderful. Once again, you can subscribe and save, right? And here we go. We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cereal. Never had it. I'm not a huge serial kind of guy, but Ninja Turtles were exploding at this time, and absolutely doing good. Can't go wrong there. And there we have Dungeons and Dragons, because, you know, Satan! Right? And I say that jokingly because that was the thing back then. A lot of people were all afraid of, you know, the connotations there. I think they read more into it than what there really was. I played a little bit, but I was never a big Dungeons and Dragons kind of guy. Just wasn't me. All right, so moving on to the next one I want to talk about. Once again, that was issue 432. This is where the big shift came to be. And here we go here. We have issue 433, which we get There's a New Thunder God in Town. That's when Eric Masterson takes up the mantle of Thor. And I'm not a big fan of legacy switches like this, but you knew this wasn't forever by the way they cast it in the last issue. I don't want to give it all away. But I absolutely love, I know a lot of people probably don't, love this iteration of Thor, because Eric Masterson, he didn't just get, like in today's comic books, when we get a legacy switch, like Riri Williams or something, they're so superior to the original character. They're better in every way. They, you know, oh, I'm smarter than Iron Man. Oh, I'm stronger than whatever it is. They always seem to be better, you know. And in this case, no, it wasn't that way. Eric Masterson gets this reluctantly in a way. It becomes Thor. And he's timid about it. He, you know, fears that he doesn't measure up. He makes rookie mistakes because he was a rookie. And it made this segue phenomenal because it didn't take away from Thor. It didn't go throw anything in Thor's face like, I'm better than you, the original Thor. It sort of says, I wish I was that good. I see why he was so important. He was amazing. I hope I can reach, at least come to close to the greatness that Thor was and accomplish what he did. And so the writing in that direction respects the character, takes you in a new direction, but never disrespects the character. Get your Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms cereal. I've had that one a few times. Not my biggest favorite kind of cereal, but I'm not a big fan of mushrooms in cereal. Do you guys like mushrooms in cereal? Mushrooms. Did I say mushrooms? Marshmallows. Oh my gosh, mushrooms in cereal would be disgusting. All right, so here we have Whosoever Holds the Hammer. We have Ron Friends once again, Tom DeFalco, plot, pencils, and words. They, as I said, they work together absolutely amazingly well. And so here we have Eric Masterson. And there's things here. There's so well done, like this panel here. Why me? I'm just not worthy of the responsibility. I don't know where they stashed him, but I'm determined to find the true Thor and restore him. So see, there it is. They never misled you. Oh, your Thor is gone. Move on, people. No, he was out there, and this guy knows he doesn't think he can measure up. How do we get this Thor back? So he's masquerading as Thor to keep up the appearance of Thor, if you will. So it wasn't him ever really taking over the mantle per se in that regard. He's temporarily doing it because they don't want the world to think that Thor is gone. Once again, that's how you do a legacy if you're planning on doing something temporarily and make it last. You put that new character in and you give him life or her life, but yet you don't downgrade the legendary character that they came from. You give them the clout that they deserve. Look at this, in a rainy fight scene here. This is just phenomenal. Good job, good artwork. I'm going to skip some pages here. I mean, you just look at this. Thor throws the hammer, I should say Eric Masterson, and he's completely lost with it. So he's here, it says, let me make sure I get this in panel a little bit. It says, this turns out to be a total fiasco. I could have been killed fighting Ulick. At least I think I can die. There's so much I still have to learn about Thor's powers, and whoa, I'm flying. I intuitively tossed the hammer, but I didn't know how to control it, and he crashes. This is just phenomenal way to do the story. And so if you never got into this series because you thought, oh, it's not Thor or whatever in the real way, I strongly suggest that you do. And I love the change in the face, in the helmet there. I think that's a really cool touch, and the beardedness of him there, which I think it was a good look for Thor. And here we go here. Get your Marvel slumber bags. There we go. Slumber bag it out. That would have been awesome. I never had any of those. Book sales. So here we go. That's a little bit in this issue. The bullpen bulletins. Even those were fun to read. So there we go, guys. That is issue 433 of the Mighty Thor. I don't know about you. When I seen that on the shelf, that was a must-have. Must-have. I bought that right off the shelf at the comic shop. And then here we go. Issue 434. We have, in this issue, Balder the Brave, the Stunning Sif, and the one and only Captain America. Yes, if it's got Captain America in it, I had to buy it. Let's be honest. If it had Captain America, I'm a sucker for it in most cases. For the life of the original Thor, our spanking new Thunder God versus the Warriors 3, alone against Asgard. This is issue 434, because I'm missing issue... No, I didn't. I got 432, 433. I didn't miss any here. Once again, just $1 cover price. We're at 1991. Look at that. You've got a fight scene to get your attention. You start off right in the very first page. Boom, you've got Captain America in there. You've got Eric Masterson. And this is really cool. An interesting part of the story here. Let me pull this up a little bit. There we go. This way it says, Avengers Mansion, one of the most heavily fortified sites on the East Coast, and the current bane of a certain unexpected golden-haired visitor. And he says, "Hey Cap, I could use a little help here." "Stop it, Thor. There's no need to destroy those restraining arms." See, because they all think he's Thor, but he's actually not. "You've been an Avenger long enough to know how to enter the premises without accidentally triggering the security deterrents." And once again, this is one of the interesting things, because he's representing Thor, but he's not. And so get your Capri Sun, settle in for an awesome pulse-pounding issue of the mighty Thor. And so then we get to find out more that he's not really the Thor. And so once again, the trials and tribulations about what's going on. If you didn't have the previous issues, you get a little bit of backstory there and what's going on. You get G.I. Joe trading cards. That would have been pretty cool. Does anybody here have G.I. Joe trading cards? If you do, let me know in the comments. I'd really be interested to see if they have that. Recruit your own team of special forces. G.I. Joe trading cards. Never had them. We have this Dungeons & Dragons board game here. Pretty cool stuff. Let me turn some more pages. Here we go. Battletoads. Battletoads, Battletoads, Battletoads. And we have it in different versions. This game was on different systems, the arcade and all that. Man, you know what? I should do a video where beating the arcade one. I've never beat this on the NES, though. I know people have. I suck at that sky part where you have to dodge all the stuff. For some reason, that's the bane of my existence there. In that game, I've yet to beat that on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And once again, Ron Friends does not fail on delivering the artwork. It's just those two working together just know how to sell something. I mean, look at that. Look at the power. It's just, this is a phenomenal setup here. This team does not get enough attention. Look at this panel here. You know somebody's getting hit. I know it's going to, there we go. There. Eat Uru. Yes, eat the Uru hammer, because that is awesome. The Hammer of Thor. All right, so there we go. Another awesome issue, issue 434. So as I always do in true fashion for this series, we line up the covers. We look at the issues and we say, okay, you go to the comic shop and you see these three issues. You have issue 432, you have issue 433, and issue 434. But you only have enough money for one based on the cover, because you can't sit there and just read the whole cover, burn, steal it there, right? That's a term for a different reason. We'll go back maybe another time. Well, just so you know, that came up because John Byrne didn't like it. Some people just sit in a comic shop and read the whole comic book and didn't buy it. But hey, another thing. Who cares? Anyway, so you have only enough money to buy one, and you're buying it based on the cover and what it grabs your interest the most. What would your choice to be? I'd love to know. If you want to help out this channel, a couple ways to do that before I give you my view is one, like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell. That's a great way to do it. One of the better ways too is tell me, just put a comment in there. Put something in your comment. What is your experience here with the Thor? What would your choice be? That's the biggest one. Which one would you choose? 432, 433, or 434? And that will help the channel significantly. Also, we have an info bar down below with links that you can help the channel to for as little as just $1 a month. All right, so if it's me, you know what? This one's easy choice for me. I am going to go with issue 433. Another little tidbit about issue 433, I have this signed as well by Ron Friends. Not this particular issue. I have another copy of it. It's signed. It's not going out of the package. I do have that. It's something special. I absolutely love it. And also, I'd like to know, were you a fan of this era of Thor, or did you not like it? Because you could tell I have a big love for that, with the Eric Masterson Thor and what they do with him later. But maybe you hated it. Let me know your thoughts are in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Well, thank you for watching this video. And until next time, keep it frugal. Thanks for sticking with me through this. If you don't mind and you enjoy videos like this, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe, and even bigger, hit that notifications bell, because evidently that means a lot. Also, if you find yourself in the position that you can help the channel and you want to, you say, hey, I like this stuff. If you don't mind, go down to the info bar down below. We have a link for our Patreon, which you can join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month, which gets you special posts that are only for the patrons. So sometimes I do Frugal Force videos that are patron only, or special versions of videos. I also do random Frugal Force giveaways where I just take a random person out there with a random number generator. It selects who it does, and I send them stuff, whether it be games or comic books or both, whoever knows. And sometimes I even just ask you guys questions or shoot up a message, and I greatly appreciate you checking those out. Also, if you find that maybe that's not for you, you don't like Patreon, we have it in the info bar as well, a Streamlabs link there where you can click on that and just give a one-time donation, and that helps the channel. All those proceeds are going right back into the channel to help Little Frugal and I and his sister, the American Dream, my wonderful little girl, and our family continue to have fun doing this and sharing this with you. All right, thank you very much. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you for all the ones who have stuck it out with me this long, and all the new ones that have joined on too. Thank you. We greatly appreciate it. And don't be afraid to leave a message in the comments section too. We love to read them. All right, thanks, and until next time, keep it frugal.